Mark Johnson here, and I want to share with you some of the ways I work out. And if you hang with me, I'm going to do a little demo of a great exercise you can do with a homemade piece of equipment. Now, I mentioned in the last how-to video that for me, I work out for two main reasons: fitness and health. By fitness, I want to preserve or add muscle mass, and I want to do it in a functional way, but I also want to have some degree of cardio fitness. But then I want to work out in a way that tries to minimize the chance of injury. But how do you do that? Well, when it comes to adding muscle mass, there's really two different ways to do it. Generally speaking, one would be a lot of volume. Some people do 2 or 3 exercises per body part, 4 or 5 sets. I'm just not interested in that. If that's your thing, go for it. But I don't want to be working out for an hour, hour and a half or 2, 5 days a week, 6 days a week. Instead, I exchange that for high intensity workouts. So I'm only doing about 2 resistance trainings a week, full body, 1 exercise for each body part. I do each set, the 1 set to failure. And then I'm going to show you a few ways that I use to increase intensity. Now, if I'm doing a physical challenge I'm working on, I may train a little extra for that skill on the side. But how do you increase intensity and yet do it safely? That's what I want to talk to you about. First recommendation I have is to slow down your reps. Some people, for example, on a curl, they're doing like this. Just to be able to use more weight, I think, they're having terrible form. They're throwing the weight, adding momentum, and that's dangerous. You don't want to be throwing the weight. So here's my recommendation. Do a slow rep, about 2 seconds up, and then about 4 seconds down. Now you'll notice when you do that, you're not throwing the weight, you're not creating momentum, you're making your muscles work harder, and therefore you have to use less weight. I don't really care how much weight I'm using, I just want to get the right amount of resistance. Now, when I'm going that pace, I'm usually shooting for 6 to 10 repetitions because I think that's kind of an optimum time under tension. So if I were doing dumbbell curls like that, I would do it something like this. If I can't do 6, I lighten the weight. Once I get 10, I add the weight. Because you're using lighter weight and not throwing the weight, you are far safer. And I do a little bit of warm up, but not a lot. I feel like those first couple reps are kind of warm up. So what do you do when you've done as many repetitions as you can? Here's some ways to increase your intensity so that you're putting a demand on your muscles to grow and get stronger, and yet doing it safely. There's several ways to do it. One way would be partial reps. So let's say in the curl, you can't do any more full reps. Well, maybe you do just move it as much as you can until you literally can't move it. Another thing you could do is static holds. Maybe you go halfway up and just hold until you can't keep the dumbbells or barbells, whatever you're doing, from going all the way down. Now, if you get to your last rep, you could do that on your way down. Just try to hold it as long as you can until you're all the way down. Some exercises you can do negatives. Unless you have a machine or somebody else to help you, doesn't really work well for dumbbell curls. But for example, on a chin-up, you could jump up. Maybe you're standing on a stool of some kind, jump up and then just go down. And when you get all the way down, maybe taking 4 seconds, you jump up and go down again. If you do only negatives for a protocol, you can of course typically add weight, because you can do a lot more weight on the negative than on the positive. Probably my favorite way to extend the set is called rest pause. What you do when you can't do anymore is you rest, but only for about 10 seconds, and then try to get another couple reps in. So, for example, let's say that this is the last rep I can do. I go down slowly, and I just can't do anymore. I could set the weights down, shake it off, rest for maybe 10 seconds, and then see if I can get another rep or two. Now, if you have a training partner, you could have assisted where they, help you a little bit. Do not do all of these methods in one exercise or you'll probably burn out. Maybe do one or two, and you probably don't want to do the extended intense set with every single exercise, but maybe just a couple of them, and maybe you rotate. So those are some of the ways that I add intensity, but try to do it safely. Now, some of you maybe use kettle bells if you go to a gym. They're kind of expensive to buy. So what I did is I made one, and I want to show that to you. Here it is. I just got pipes, and then there's a plate on the bottom that holds it all in. And I put a little thing there to keep the weights from moving up and down. Otherwise, everything is just screwed tightly. You want to occasionally check it, make sure it's still tight. Then I put some cloth tape around it to make it have a better grip. Of course, you could use gloves if you want. And so this is two 25-pound weights. So it's probably, 52, 53 pounds with all the other apparatus. I use this two ways. One way I'll do it is I'll just do as many kettlebell swings as I can, just one long set till I can't do anymore. And this helps a lot of the muscles on the back side and really gets your heart pumping. So that's one way I do it. And then the next time I might do the Tabata Protocol. What that is it's 20 seconds hard, 10 seconds rest, 20 hard, 10 rest, till you've done 8 full cycles. So it's like a 4-minute intense workout. I have a clock I'm watching while I do it. For me, it tends to be about like 15 repetitions of the kettlebell swing, resting 10 seconds, and then repeating that. So it looks something like this. And I'll set it down, rest for 10 seconds, and repeat for a total of 8 sets or 4 minutes. So I hope something that I shared today helps you, gives you an idea that maybe you can implement in your workout. Till then, here's to your health, both physically, especially spiritually. See you next time.